I don't know what the hell is going on at HYBE headquarters, but it's clear that something is happening. Like, there is no way that SSERAFIM and Illit are both having songs which I'm genuinely considering skipping. Especially since this year, girl groups have been really strong, with Kiki and the entire Delulu pack, Hearts of the Heart with Rude, and so many more which are gonna pop up behind me, because I can't think of them right now. And of course, there are some good upcoming albums as well, like Motto by ITZY, Lemonade by aespa, Heavy Serenade by Nmix. And it just seems like HYBE girl groups came to disappoint. But before I get into the actual video, disclaimer. This isn't a hate video towards any of the groups that I mentioned in this video. I'm pointing out that HYBE is the issue, not the actual groups. So recently, my For You page has been bombarded with videos of HYBE girl groups getting absolutely flamed. So we'll start off with the SSERAFIM because they're one of my favorite groups, like, of all time. Like, genuinely a strong contender for having no skips at all. And then they come out with Celebration. Like, they've been able to make so many different types of music and still be able to sound good. But since I don't know a thing about music genres, I found this post on Reddit and it sort of cleared the air for me. Like, did you guys even know that new jazz is a thing? I've like literally never heard of that before in my life. So as you can see, there are a bunch of different genres throughout the entire list. And there's even some techno and EDM. So it just makes me question what the hell went wrong with Celebration, because it is a similar genre of music. So how did they mess up so bad? Instead of being a hype song like Crazy, it's just a generic EDM or techno beat with the same words being repeated over and over again.
It's like a nothing burger song. Like, I'm getting nothing out of it. Hook is the entire song. It's time to celebrate, yeah. I don't know. I don't know where do we go wrong?
See, that's not even crazy to say. I mean, okay, let's take a look at the actual lyrics. So the song basically starts off with turn up to celebrate, turn up to celebrate, time to celebrate, time to celebrate. Then it goes into the chorus, which is more celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. There's the verse, then the chorus again. Then the build, I don't know what the fuck a build is, but there's more celebrate. Then there's the pre-chorus and the chorus again. All just celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Keep in mind, there's only one actual verse of like actual decent lyrics. Now this might be the genre, this might even be what they wanted. So don't do that again. The same thing could be said about Illit, who genuinely had a no skip discography, even though it was pretty small. And some songs were getting a bit annoying, like Not Cute Anymore. That shit was all over my For You page. It was fucking annoying. But I didn't dislike it because I thought the song was bad. I was just sick of hearing it. But this new song, whatever the hell they're trying to release, it's not listenable at all. Like, that's literally it. That like terrible vocal effect, I don't know what that is. Like, actually that's horrendous. And then it's just a generic EDM beat after that. The full song hasn't come out yet, but I'm still going to listen to it. I'm still gonna give it a try, but my hopes aren't very high for it. I don't think it's gonna be good from what we've seen already. I was also gonna talk about Arirang. I was gonna talk about BTS's new album. Pretend I said nothing. I was gonna talk about how it was an okay album. Like, it was nothing special. It was a 5 out of 10. Because there are some really good songs and there are some not so good songs. And to top it all off, there are some really cringe moments.
I need what you need, Twan. Baby, you remind me.
But most people have already said their piece on it, so I'm gonna leave that so armies don't find my house and try. So the music recently has just been the same word repeated over and over again, or like the same group of words or the same sentence or something like that, with a shitty, very empty beat just being blasted. And I guess the point of it is kind of so it either goes viral on TikTok or something, or gets stuck in your head. Because the second one is definitely happening to me. I can't get that out of my head. It's like that one clip of Choso like fucking grabbing his head. Like, I can't get that shit out of my head. It's so fucking annoying. Oh yeah, the same thing could be said about Pinky Up, but that's Katseye. Are you really surprised? You know, it's almost like they were copying another song which had repeated lyrics and a techno EDM kind of beat, but I'm not saying they did, but don't rule it off the table. At this point, it's just the boy groups keeping me listening to any group from HYBE at this point. 2US recently had a comeback, TXT had a comeback, and Cortis, REDRED, oh, what a good song. Holy, it's so hype, it's so amazing. And it seems like I'm not the only one who thinks that. But before we move on, I do want to have like one little rant because there's something I need to get off my chest. The amount of remixes that HYBE music groups release is ridiculous. Like, why are there 9 versions of Swim? Why are there 18 versions of Crazy? Now, to be fair, there are some which kind of make sense, like the ones with like Pink Pantheress, David Guetta, like ones that have other artists collaborating on it. That makes sense. But what the hell does Super Crazy Remix mean? And don't even get me started on what Belift did to The Sin Vanish. Why are there more versions of The Sin Vanish than there are actual albums? That should never be the case. Keep in mind, the only thing that changes are voice notes from each member and different versions of Knife. Like, if you're gonna have a version of Knife for every single member, put them all in one album. You don't need 7 different albums for all 7 of them, like they used to be. Anyways, let's move on to Katseye and the recent drama that's been with them, because it seems like every single week there's something new going on with them. Katseye is the musical equivalent of like streamers trying to clip farm. Like, they're always finding themselves in some kind of drama, and this time it's related to Mana again. So during her hiatus due to her mental health and well-being, which I'm pretty sure that's what they said. I mean, I can throw up the statement behind me. She's on stage at Coachella with Pink Pantheress. She seems pretty happy to me. She seems pretty healthy to me. And the fact that she can vibe to actual music seems like a great thing to her. Yeah, I guess we should talk about Pinky Up because it is one of the most extreme examples of this EDM, MTB, repeating words, whatever the hell is going on with that. And I did actually make the same point in my Katseye video right there, and I don't really want to repeat myself, so I'm just going to summarize really quickly. The Katseye members are really talented. They can sing, they can dance. That's why they debuted, okay? Of course they have talent themselves, but if they're getting fed slop to perform, think Internet Girl, fucking Pinky Up, that's what it's called, Pinky Up, even Gnarly. Like, I don't think Gnarly's a good song, but it's better. Like, out of the 3 that I named, Gnarly's probably the best one, and I never thought I'd be giving props to Gnarly. But I feel like ever since they debuted, they had like a really strong start with Touch and Debut. Those were actually really nice songs. I listen to them sometimes. And even Beautiful Chaos, that album was quite nice. You know, MIA, the other song whose name I forgot, those are good songs. But then they started chasing this viral, like I said, clip farming. They're basically clip farming with music. They're making bad music on purpose so people can talk about it, and it's working because I'm talking about it. Also, can I just say, their fans, well, some of their fans suck ass. Like, I understand having favorites in a group, but being like, no, that one sucks and that one sucks, that's insane. Okay, time to talk about my least favorite part of HYBE, Belift Lab. So let's talk about how they're ruining their only 2 groups by making a lot of bad decisions. Starting off with Illit seemingly copying as many groups as they possibly can. Starting off with NewJeans. Now, I'm gonna be honest, some of this stuff looks really convincing. Then again, some of it doesn't look so convincing. I'm not gonna say too much on the topic because 1, I'm heavily biased to one side, and 2, there's more. The new logo of their new album, which I'm not even gonna try and pronounce, looks exactly like the Blackpink logo. And then people started saying, oh, do Blackpink own rectangles? Or does Blackpink own the font? That's not the point. Like, you're telling me out of any creative design they ever could have gotten, it just happened to look like the Blackpink logo. Now, obviously, it's not the actual members of Illit sitting down and like scheming like some evil villains out of a fucking cartoon or something. It's obviously Belift Lab giving them the thing to perform, right? Like, most of the time, the members are like given lyrics, they're given choreography, and they're like, go for it. And it kind of seems like Belift is trying to strike gold by copying or being extremely similar to groups that have struck gold in the past, like Blackpink and NewJeans. Also, we have to talk about Enypen and how the entire Heesung leaving the group situation went down. Because I'm not one of those guys that thinks that Heesung leaving was a conspiracy and everyone's in on it. I'm more thinking that the situation was just poorly communicated, so it looked weird. Like, to think that one Weverse message and one letter from Heesung would be enough to convince everybody that he left willingly, you're really pushing it. I mean, I feel like they could have had some sort of like final live with OT7 or like a performance or something, like a proper send-off. They just sent one PR message out and was like, oh yeah, Heesung's leaving, by the way, on some random Tuesday with no signs, no nothing, because now it looks really fucking suspicious. And now, because B-Lift isn't giving us anything, people are going back to older videos and are micro-analyzing everything that's happening. So even if nothing weird happened behind the scenes, it looks weird because of how they communicated the entire situation. Finally, let's move on to NewJeans, because I can't believe I'm saying this. There's actually news now. There's actually something happening with them. Is it good news? No. Has it been good news for the last 2 years? No. Let's start off with the lawsuit with Danielle because big news is happening.
But the important thing to note is that Danielle's side already submitted all of their evidence, while Ador's side has still done nothing. Yes, they have not submitted any evidence, which means the theory that Ador has no evidence against Danielle and sued her for no reason still stands. Because again, how does the plaintiff who issued the lawsuit till this day has no evidence to submit to court? Like, that is absolutely embarrassing.
Okay, look, I'm not a lawyer, okay? I'm just a kid in my room recording videos for YouTube. But can you do that? You can just start a lawsuit with somebody if you have no evidence. Like, I can just go outside, point at someone and be like, I'm taking you to court. I'm gonna fucking sue you. And then like a month later, they're like, okay, so why did you sue him? I just felt like it. I don't have any proof. I don't have any evidence. I just felt like it. Because that's what it seems like they're doing here. They sued Danielle with no evidence and are just prolonging this entire lawsuit. Anyways, a few days after this news broke, the 5 lawyers working with Ador decided to withdraw from the case. So it kind of seems like they're trying to reshuffle the legal team to just prolong this case as long as they can.
And what sends me is that they've just been trying to delay this trial from happening because they know they don't have anything. Just wasting her time, wasting our time.
Yeah, or that too. They could be stalling so they can find the fucking smallest crumb of evidence against Danielle. And as another win for Ador, they also get to keep Danielle from doing anything really because she's part of this lawsuit. So the longer the lawsuit goes on, the longer Danielle can't really do any sort of activities. At least that's what I understood. I watched a couple of TikToks. I'm not a fucking legal expert. Also, apparently NewJeans is preparing a comeback, which are words I didn't think I would ever be able to say again. But bad news, it's apparently only with Honey, Haerin, and Haein. So is it really a NewJeans comeback? You know, because we've been saying like forever that NewJeans is 5. You know, it's 5 or nothing. So having 3 out of the 5 members come back is not exactly a NewJeans comeback. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.